Minister, during Science Week, the Oireachtas had presentations from Professor Martin Mullins of the University of Limerick and Professor Martin Galvin of the University of Galway on the huge potential to reduce traffic accidents with driver-assisted technology in cars, and they have made a very strong argument for tax incentives to actually make this happen. So my question to you is, Minister, will you consider this in the interests of reducing road deaths here in Ireland?
Thank you, Deputy Naughton, for raising this issue. And at the outset, the Deputy should note that vehicle registration tax is an emissions-based tax calculated on the value of the car. There is no specific VRT rate for cars with this type of technology. Under the Finance Act 1992, VRT is assessed on a vehicle at the time of registration in the state, and the way it is calculated depends on the category of the vehicle involved. VRT on Category A vehicles, generally passenger cars and certain special utility vehicles, is based on the vehicle's value and its emissions level, with higher charges for higher emitting vehicles of the same value. There are two components of the VRT charge for these vehicles relating to their CO2 and NOx emissions. The CO2 component of the VRT charge is calculated by multiplying the value of the vehicle, its open market selling price, by a percentage from a 20-band table, with the vehicle's CO2 emissions level determining which band applies. Vehicles with the lowest CO2 emissions fall into Band 1, charged at 7%, while those with the highest emissions fall into Band 20, charged at 41%. And the NOx component of the VRT charge is calculated using a progressive scale, starting from €5 and rising to €25 per microgram kilometre of the vehicle's NOx emission level. The VRT for Category B vehicles, generally light commercial vans, is 13.3% of the value of the vehicle. There is a flat VRT charge of €200 for Category C vehicles, which include larger commercial vehicles, agricultural tractors and buses. The appropriate category is decided at the time of registration, based on the vehicle's technical categorisation under EU type approval law, taking account of the documentation presented at the time of registration. The classification of vehicles for VRT purposes reflects to a significant degree the categories used for the EU classification of vehicles as set out in the EU legislation, particularly those relating to the type approval of passenger vehicles, 2- and 3-wheeled motor vehicles and agricultural or forestry tractors. All vehicles must have type approval, and the National Standards Authority of Ireland are the Irish Type Approval Authority. The changes made to VRT structures in recent years have been focused on incentivising the uptake of low emissions vehicles. The overall approach to tax policy is kept under review as part of the TSG and the budgetary cycle. In summary, VRT is determined by the type and the emission value of the car as per the recent changes made to the VRT structure. No account is taken of features in cars such as advanced driver assistance technologies that can assist drivers in driving and parking functions. Additionally, there is no mechanism by which VRT is applied to vehicles on the basis of safety or likelihood of the vehicle being involved in road traffic accidents.
Minister, I have two young students, transition year students, here with me in the gallery this week. And I'm sure they've now just got a perfect example of how to spend 4 minutes answering a question without actually answering the question that has been put. So thanks for that education from the Minister. But Minister, I would like you to answer the question that I put to you. Would you consider looking at the issue of vehicle registration tax to try and drive an increase in road safety standards in this country? Because, Minister, in 2022 we had the highest number of deaths on our roads in 6 years. And sadly, it is very likely that 2023 will actually surpass this figure. Now, yes, we do need more enforcement on our roads. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But we also need to utilise the technology that's available to us. Now, automated vehicle technologies, for example, automated emergency braking, lane departure warning, adaptive cruise control, those type of technologies combined, it's estimated based on UK data, could reduce accidents by up to 1/4. Will you look at this, Minister?
Thank you, Deputy, and the TY students are very welcome. I hope they enjoy their visit to Leinster House. And to answer your question directly, Yes, we are open to examining what changes might be appropriate to the system of VRT in a way that helps all of our collective efforts to reduce accidents on our roads and reduce the level of fatalities, which unfortunately has been going in the wrong direction in recent times. And it does behove all of us to be open-minded, to examine what we can do in terms of using new technology to reduce the risk of accidents and indeed to incentivise the use of vehicles that help to protect drivers and indeed protect passengers, and will also help to highlight oncoming dangers and the risk of collisions that can impact on cyclists, pedestrians and so on. So the answer, Deputy, is yes, I am open to examining what changes might be appropriate, and I look forward to working with you in that regard.
Minister, can I put it to you that every car that goes onto Irish roads should have automated emergency braking, lane departure warning, blind spot detection and drowsiness and attention detection? Those 4 measures alone would have a significant impact on road traffic deaths. Now, based on UK road safety reports for 2019 and research that was carried out on that, those type of measures, Minister, in terms of skidding and overturning accidents, would reduce those accidents by 41%. And in terms of pedestrian accidents, Minister, they would reduce those accidents by 28.4%. Now, sadly to date, Minister, this year we've had 38 pedestrian deaths on our roads, which is the highest figures in 15 years. If we had these measures introduced on our roads, it would reduce those number of deaths by 11 pedestrians so far this year that would be alive and walking around today if we had this type of technology on Irish roads. Thank you.
Thanks, Deputy. And we have just seen far too many tragedies on Irish roads in recent months, and I don't think there is a household in the country now that hasn't been impacted in terms of at least knowing somebody who has lost their life or who has been subjected to horrific injuries as a result of a road traffic accident, and I've seen far too many of them in my own community, and I can assure you that any policy that helps to reduce the risk that will lead to reduced accidents and less fatalities on our roads is one that I will support. And so the system of taxation that we employ in terms of vehicles can play a role. Some of the issues raised by the Deputy are relevant to other departments as well, who would lead out on policy in this area, in particular the Department of Transport. And I know that Minister Chambers and Minister Ryan are examining what more can be done to reduce the accidents. I'm sure it is, but I'm happy to work with you, Deputy, on your specific proposal.